Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks, and welcome to another fun-filled, action-packed edition of the Snowstorm podcast. This is for snowstorm perverts all across the eastern U.S. It's Wednesday afternoon, 4 o'clock, March 14th. We got a couple of different events to talk about, plus a brief review of just what happened in New England with the third big nor'easter of the season. So let's get right to it. We'll start out by taking a look at the snowstorm matrix, and you can see here that the main issue is going to be the day 4, 5, and 6 interval, and with the event on the 19th and 20th coming up. For the Midwest, it actually looks like some moderate snow, especially in Iowa, Minnesota, that sort of place, maybe northern Illinois. The Ohio Valley looks to be mostly any snow quickly going over to rain. I may change this pink to green, which means not significant snow, just a little bit. And then interior Northeast in New England, there definitely a significant snow event again. And for I-95, especially the southern end, negligible. Maybe I should split this one up right here, so it's realize it's the northern half of I-95, New England, New York might get a lot more snow than the southern half. But I have time. I may change that in the next edition of the video here, so we'll see how that plays out. Now, let me point out again here that we have, this is the Miller B East Coast winter storm, the one we had. All three of these storms now have been really Miller B systems. They've come out of the Ohio Valley, the low pressure area, and the Tennessee Valley. They transferred to the coast. So the one in early March, the one we had yesterday, the one back on March 7th or 8th, all of them have been Miller B snowstorms, which is one of the reasons why they favor New England and not so much D.C., Philly, New York, and down in Virginia, Maryland. And this is another schematic of how the difference between the two types of systems. This is the southern Gulf of Mexico. This is the, southern low here, which comes out of the Gulf up the coast in this direction, so on and so forth. These are the one where it redevelops on the coast, and where definitely all three systems so far in March have been this type of event. And it looks like the one coming up from March 19th to 20th is also going to be the same type of event. Now, just briefly, we can take a look at what's happened here in New England and the Northeast with this latest snowstorm, and you can see the impressive snow amounts. Now, I continue to see snow weenies and others who consist of, they've gotten 29, 30, 31 inches of snow in eastern Massachusetts and southeast New Hampshire. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but so far, the National Weather Service is completely discounting those reports. The highest I saw was 25, 26 inches. So these snow weenies, obviously, they want to get the name of the paper. They want to get in the storm record books. They come up with 31 inches. That's fine. They can do what they want to do. But this looks like a pretty uniform. And one of the problems is that, of course, if you get 31 inches of snow, somebody else around you should have 28 or 30, something like that. If all the other readings are 24, 25, 26 inches, and you've got 30 or 31 inches of snow, that's a problem. That looks suspicious. So take that for what it's worth. All right, and you can see the impressive snow all in here, the real heavy snow bands in this area. And there's another one to some degree in this area down into here. Notice the Connecticut Valley was much less snow, which I did forecast, by the way. I had a much less snow band in this area, so that worked out nicely. I had 1 to 3 in New York City. That worked out pretty good. My heaviest snow was in this area here. That was a bust, so that didn't work out. And I had decent snow in western and upstate New York, so that worked out pretty good. Oops, let me go to the next one here. And then this here is the actual snow amounts observed through 5 o'clock on Tuesday. This is just during the storm. Obviously, it's not complete. And this is New York. This is actually the complete snow forecast map here. And you can see not much in New York City at all. And then some decent snow up into here. Mostly on the grassy surfaces, and all the good snow was down in this area like this. So again, that's pretty close to what I thought was going to happen. Now, longer term, we can also, don't forget, we did get snow here in portions of the mid-Atlantic, eastern West Virginia. I talked about that constantly. I want to make sure my friends in West Virginia realize I'm not ignoring you, especially the eastern half of West Virginia. Very different climate than the western half of that state. And you can see the significant snow difference. Look at the difference here between what they saw right here. Nothing over the whole western half of the state, and significant snow, 6 to 8 inches, maybe 12 inches in some areas, and finally even a little red blob there of 18 inches near Snowshoe. So very impressive snow up in this whole area, as you can see. And then we had that snow burst, which was a surprise. Roanoke had the nice snow. Southwest Virginia got the big snow in this whole area. And there was some other decent snows in here and there. So all in all, pretty good. Notice, yes, D.C. got screwed again. No doubt about it. Baltimore, they're suffering. Northern Virginia continues to be a problem. Winds here in East New England very high. As you can see, hurricane force, not a surprise there. I think this is pictures from Dr. Judah Cohen. He took this picture of snow in his back porch. Very impressive, huge snow amounts there. And this is over the last 7 days, including both nor'easters. And you can see that in portions of eastern New England, northeastern Massachusetts, southeastern New Hampshire, and in southern Vermont, there are snow amounts over 30 and 36 inches total since March 7th. So pretty impressive snow. And also West Virginia again with a secondary band of snow into western Maryland as well. All right, let's talk about this next event coming up here from March 19th and 20th. So this was the European model. This was 0Z on Monday, March 13th. Okay, and you can see the low very nicely. The primary low here, the secondary low developing. You can see the rain snow here through Virginia, right through Richmond, and then it's really big snow in the Shenandoah Valley into D.C., up into Pennsylvania, Ohio, good snow, and really heavy snow up towards over past Philadelphia, up towards Allentown and Harrisburg and Altoona and New York and the Shenandoah Valley and Charlottesville and Fredericksburg and everybody's going to be happy with this sort of system, right? Right. Well, obviously this was treated with a great deal of skepticism because, well, given what's happened this season in Northern Virginia. Now, this was the 12Z European. They came out yesterday afternoon. This was the GFS. As you can see here, GFS right here. This was 12Z on Thursday. This is Monday afternoon. You can see this is the rain snow line, the purple line right there. It drops to south of Richmond, almost to the North Carolina border, hammers Richmond with a big snowstorm, hammers the entire Virginia Piedmont, the Shenandoah Valley, big snow up into D.C. and Baltimore, and implying it's going to go into the Delmarva and eastern portions of West Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley. And the whole thing was much further south. Very exciting. Okay, well, it was the GFS. We'll see. And then of course this was the Monday afternoon European. Came out 13th, Tuesday afternoon's European. You can see it the 13th. And you can see it right here, 12Z run. And look where it is. The low's down here. The snow line is south of Richmond, almost into Hampton Roads. Big snow up in D.C., heavy snow, Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, the northern Shenandoah Valley, Patuxent River, Baltimore, into Philly, the Dover, Salisbury. It's just a big snowstorm. West Virginia, yeah, that looks great. Yoo-hoo! It looks like it's going to happen. But, again, long way out. No reason to get excited about it. And there are problems with that sort of scenario. Now, this is what the model was showing. You have to understand what the upper atmosphere was showing, why it was coming up with this solution. Again, this is the Tuesday, early morning European model. Okay, so you can see which one it was. Now, first issue is this here's the blocking feature. Okay, there's your negative NAO. Got it? And here is their 50-50 low. Oops. Right here. Very powerful. These two features are connected. You can see the loop going in this way. They're connected. They are connected. This is again, you have a Rex block here. Not just a mega block, but a Rex block. All right? Good. Then you can see the deep trough here on the west coast. All right? And you also have our northern jet stream still coming down in this direction, over the top of it, bringing the cold air in. So this is a really dry pattern here for the Midwest, no doubt about, for the plain states. And this low pressure going to get ejected out of this deep trough, and it's going to come eastward. And it's going to be forced to go underneath the block like the last several storms. This is why the blocking pattern, having the negative Arctic oscillation, is so cool and so great, and having it with the NAO is very good. And of course, what happens here is that the 50-50 low is still there. The block is still here. The giant ocean low over southeastern Canada, that's still there. So now this piece of energy gets ejected from California, and here comes a northern piece coming down this way. They're going to phase and merge, form a big low pressure area, and then track due east through the mid-Atlantic, bringing in the winter storm. That's what the scenario looked like. And this even showed up on the this is the European ensemble. This is this was Tuesday afternoon's European ensemble. Big cluster here of low pressure area right along that coast. Very good sign for the mid-Atlantic region. Okay, so far so good. Then as we move on, this was now this is the afternoon GFS. Now the data last night began to shift and take the track further to the north. We'll get into that in a bit why. But the 0Z models from early Wednesday morning and the 12Z models are very similar. So I was going to show you the 0Z models, but it's just superfluous at this point. So we can see what's going on. This is the 12Z GFS, okay, right here, Wednesday. And the low is right here. There's the low, you can see it. Another low here. So he has some sort of front running like this. High pressure over Manitoba, that's fine. And it's pretty cold at this point. Obviously, it's bringing snow to the Midwest and maybe rain to the south. And if we look at this in more detail, we can see what it does here. Now, this is 144 hours to March 20th, the beginning of astronomical spring, and it's got the low right over Virginia. Now, it actually has two lows. There's a little black area right here, and then the other low is right here. So you actually have two low pressure areas. And that's not good for Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina. That's all rain this time of year. You need the system to be way down here, not going through Virginia. And sure enough, if you look at it in more detail, this is 132 hours out on the GFS. You can see the low pressure area. Here it is. Okay. And the rain snow line is right through here, through up north of DC already, and the other 32-degree line. So it's nice and cold up in this area, but it's not cold enough in Virginia for snow or Maryland, or Kentucky or West Virginia for that matter. This is 144 hours, and like I said, there are two areas low pressure. There's the main low here over Wallops Island. You can see that's probably another one back in here. And the rain snow line, again, north of DC, south of Pittsburgh, but up by Cumberland, Maryland, and Wheeling, West Virginia, and then north of DC, of New York City and Philly. Southeast winds, again, with the rain. Not great pattern here for the big cities, 95. And then finally gets off the coast here at 162 hours out. Now it goes over to snow in New York. It's snowing, and maybe probably snowing in Boston. Rain and snow mix in southern New England, and then a moderate heavy snow again in central and northern New England. Not much of a change. Another big nor'easter headed for those guys. This here you can see at 156 hours, deepening low pressure off the New England coast, south of Cape Cod, east of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Impressive system, to say the least. Another one of these things. This will be the fourth one. Now here's the European. Again, this was the early morning European from Wednesday morning. There's the low pressure area showing up very nicely right here. You have high pressure up in here, a little bit necking down, some cold air in that direction. Not a lot. I'll clear this out. And then this was 150 hours. Here's the European. This is the afternoon run. Now you can see again the European has two areas of low pressure like the GFS. So again, primary here, secondary here. That means not much for Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, or North Carolina. Rain if anything, and that's that. And you have high pressure way to the north in Quebec, Canada, which will help keep New England cold, but that's about it. And if we go beyond that, this is the European 100. This is 162. Again, this was the 0Z run. So again, this is similar. This was 1/5 12Z. This is 12 hours earlier. Notice they both have two lows. That's the important thing here. Both of these model runs have two lows. One is here, and the other one is here. And that's just not good for the Mid-Atlantic. Great for New England, but not for the Mid-Atlantic. And if we go beyond that, at 180 hours, this is the low off the coast. Now the European has a nice diffuse area of low pressure, big 500 low here, maybe some snow showers in much of the Mid-Atlantic region, but other than that, this is a New England storm. And what happens is, this is the change of the pattern. Now this is the 84-hour map for 12Z Saturday the 17th. So here's our western trough, the low is coming inland. Okay, this is our big ocean low, or this is our big 50-50 low, and here's the block. Okay, so we have a cold flow bringing the Arctic air in. There's a short wave here, and another one coming out of the west coast, and this is night 50-50 low, which is going to keep the system to the south. The problem is that when we advance it going into time, look what happens. This is 120 hours, the 19th, okay, approaching the storm. The 50-50 low is still here, but it's beginning to pull out, and the blocking is breaking down. It's pulling out. This system is coming east. So we still have a northwest flow, and that's going to keep the system east for a while, but when this is all gone, this is going to take a track much to the northeast. And that's exactly what happens here. In my next image, you can see this 210 hours. That's exactly what happened. Notice the blocking now. Remember that big 50 low we talked about? Where is it? Gone. The blocking, gone completely. And now we have West Coast Pacific flow coming in and mild Pacific air. If we look at the European in more detail, we can see exactly what the problem is here. All right, this is again the 12Z European. Yes, it is. And you can see the main low is here. Now all the snow is back in this area. And we have a little bit, another second low developing here. Okay? That is valid as of the 19th, evening of the 19th. Now this is the evening of the 21st. And you can see the low, look where the primary low is, up by Michigan. Egads. That's not great. And up in here, that's not good. So that's really far to the north. And this is on the morning of the 20th. Actually, I should have these slides back. So this is the 20th and that's the 21st. And again, a little bit of snow in central Pennsylvania, not much for New York City. All rain for Delaware, Philly, Jersey, southern New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, everybody. So, and finally it gets to the coast here. So not a great scenario. And part of the problem here also is the upper air teleconnections. Now, we're in negative Arctic oscillation, where that's where we are right now. Okay, but this is the 20th. This is when it changes phase. It's negative, it goes positive. See that? The NAO, same sort of thing. Negative, then it goes positive right around the 20th when this storm occurs. That sort of coastal storm with a change in the phase and the Arctic oscillation and the NAO is referred to as a Archibald event, named after Dr. Heather Archibald, who discovered that there's a tendency to get nor'easters on the East Coast when you go from strongly positive to strongly negative Arctic oscillation, or when you go from strongly negative to strongly positive Arctic oscillation. So this may be one of those types of events that's happening. So it may be one of these Archibald events, any event. And finally, go beyond that. This is the March 27th. The whole pattern's broken down. The trough moves back to the Rockies and the Plain States. And this is March 29th. And we're in a milder pattern. And the winter probably is over at this point. So we'll see if this actually correct. Some people suggesting that the blocking is going to hold on longer until the end of March. That might be, maybe. I'm just saying right now this is what the data is showing. This is meteorologist DT from weatherist.com. I'll talk to you soon on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page.